AV in your ears, that's Ambush Vid, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know. Let's get it when you whip in the Fascination Street. What do you...
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol Baskin, and you are listening to Fascination Street.
Yeah, AV in your ears, that's Ambush Vid, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know. Let's get it when you whip in the Fascination Street. What do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Lorraine Ziff, better known as the Goddess of Slots. In this episode, we get to know Lorraine and how she grew up in New York, spent some time in LA, did some acting, started a business, went back to New York, started that business up again, did some more acting, and then now she has become the Goddess of Slots. She is a world-renowned slot machine hostess, gambler, influencer, all of the words. And not only does she have 2 TV shows that are about to come out, which we talk about, she is also hosting the first ever Goddess of Slots exclusive casino cruise aboard Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. We talk a lot about that particular cruise and what people can expect, how you can get free tickets to that cruise, and some of the events that are going to happen on the boat. It is a Virgin Voyage cruise on the Valiant Lady. It is dubbed the Dominican Daze Voyage, and it leaves Miami on September 12th, comes back September 17th, and it sounds like a lot of fun. There's going to be parties and dancing, and there's going to be dinners and tournaments and all of the things, and there's no kids allowed, so it should be even more fun. But most of all, you get to meet and hang out with Lorraine herself. Again, the Goddess of Slots, Lorraine Ziff, is everywhere. Check her out in all of the social media things at Goddess of Slots. And this is my conversation with Lorraine Ziff, the Goddess of Slots.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Lorraine Ziff. How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I cannot complain. Wherever you are looks nice and sunny, but over here it's raining like cats and dogs. Where are you?
I am at the moment in New Jersey.
Where in New Jersey?
I'm at the beach. Where are you?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, I love San Antonio, Texas.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm at the beach, which is LBI is what people refer to it as, and it's Long Beach Island.
And that's in Jersey?
It is. It's about an hour from Atlantic City.
How far from Red Bank is it?
Around the same, but in a different direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been to Red Bank probably a handful of times, and I love it. There's this place called the Molly Pitcher Inn, which is like this really old hotel or whatever that's right on the water.
I know it. It's a cool place.
And we stayed there, I don't know, a bunch of years ago. It was in the winter. Yeah. And I woke up early in the morning and I just went to go, I don't know, get breakfast or something. And I'm glad I had my phone with me because I went and I was just looking out on the docks or whatever. And it was like the most beautiful. There was just ice everywhere and snow and there was Christmas lights and the sun was just coming. It was so pretty. Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. I love New Jersey. And also I've said this probably 100 times on my show, but the best pizza I've ever had in New York is in New Jersey.
I can believe that.
And I will never stop saying it because it's amazing.
I think New Jersey is a bad rap. I think people think of it just as like Elizabeth, which is very industrial. And that's the problem. And there are some really exquisite areas. So
that's not the only problem. We've got a couple of problems. Hear me out.
Okay.
We got the Sopranos. They didn't make New Jersey look awesome. And then also we got, what's that one guy's name? This is going to go great if I can't remember words. Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton. Everything's legal in New Jersey.
Yeah. Now nothing's legal in New Jersey, but that's why I split my time between Jersey and Florida. So.
I love that. Okay, so what I like to do, Lorraine, is I like to get to know the guest from the beginning. It helps us understand how the guests got from where they were to where they are. So where were you born and raised? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in the Bronx, and I spent quite a lot of time there. And then I went to school and lived my life in Yonkers, New York. From there, I ended up going to college in Tarrytown, New York. So it was very White Plains, Westchester, very much like that. And then I got accepted to law school, and I always wanted to go to California. So I was like, hey, this seems like the thing to do. And that's
Why did you
is.
want to be a lawyer?
So I always wanted to do acting my whole life. I went to school for it. I studied for it. But when I got to my senior year in school, my parents were like, that's cool. What's your real job going to be?
Well, your senior year in college?
In high school.
Okay, high school.
Yeah, my parents, and I was like, well, I want to do the acting thing. And back in the day, I was going on auditions in New York City, and it was tough. You had to do everything in person back then. I said, well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my life, so I guess I'll take the LSATs, which is the entry into law school. And I did well. And I got accepted into a couple of schools, New York law and in California as well. I said, oh, I always wanted to go to California, so here I go. When I got there, and I hated every second of it.
You hated every second of California or law school or both?
I hated every second of law school.
Nice.
So I did a year of that, and I was like, you know what? This ain't for me.
What about it did you hate?
You mean the schooling?
Uh-huh.
So I'd never been anywhere. I grew up with not a lot of money, and I'd never traveled anywhere. I'd never done anything. So I got to California and I lost my mind. And I lived a full California life. And I really, really enjoyed California and every second of it. And that conflicted with the fact that you had to have, 9 million hours in law school, and you had to really buckle down. You really had to focus. And I sort of coasted because I was lucky enough to have the smarts. But by the end of that year, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to be here. I was homesick. Like, for the girl who wanted to sort of run away a little bit, I was unbelievably homesick. Had no money at all to live. And I was living in this disgusting roach infested place. It was gross. It was so bad. Like a couple of blocks from law school. And I would go to school and then come home and be like, I'm in over my head. Everybody here is serious. I just kind of want to play and go to the beach. And I've got, roaches in my apartment. And it was really, really bad.
So the thing that you didn't like about law school was that it got in the way of having fun in California?
I guess.
That's the way it sounds.
I mean, I was in over my head. I wasn't mentally prepared to be a serious student. And I think that hurt me. So.
Yeah, that'd do it. So what did your parents say when you were like, hey, you remember when I was going to be a lawyer and then I don't like it? Can I come home?
I was the first person in my family to graduate college. So they were thrilled for the fact that I'd done that. They were thrilled for the fact that I got accepted into law school. This was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I decided not to go back home because I've always had a very entrepreneurial spirit. So I ended up getting a job as paralegal in one of the biggest law firms in California at the time. It was Adams, Dukey, and Hazeltine. I think it's still around. I worked in corporate. I worked in litigation. I did a lot of stuff. And I got to the point where some paralegals do more secretarial work and some paralegals take it all the way up to the next level. So I was doing everything except signing off on the documents as a lawyer. So I was doing everything. While I was doing this, was like, you know what? Why don't I go into business for myself? And ultimately, I did end up doing that. I ended up keeping them as a client, but then also getting other law firms to allow me to do things like, summarizing interrogatories and working through depositions and all of that. So I had a sweet little business going while I was there. And then So I lived there for 3 years and I was doing that. It's funny because I did that all day, like my serious job. And then I would work, as a waitress at night. So I was hustling. I was just trying to stay alive.
Why did you have a night waitress job? Just for the extra money, or is
Exactly.
California so expensive that owning your own paralegal company wasn't enough?
Both actually. So it was a lot of work and I was young and strong and energetic and I was like, let's see what we can do. And after 3 years, I left and I went back home. So I'd worked myself up with working the job and doing the business that I was able to buy. This is a funny story. I was actually able to buy a condo right off the Sunset Boulevard. I look back on it now and I'm like, oh my God, for not a lot of money. And it was prime location. It was right around the block from a place called Chin Chin's, which is kind of a famous Chinese place. It was unbelievable, like right off the Sunset Strip. It was a gorgeous area, gorgeous condo. So I'd worked myself up to that point.
That's pretty impressive. You were only there 3 years and you were able to do that.
Thank
That's
you.
pretty cool.
I hustled, man. I worked so hard.
Sounds like it.
But then when I turned around to sell it, yeah, I look back on it now and I thought I was getting a fortune for it. And it's like that condo building is like millions now. And I was thrilled to get a couple of 100,000. But I was able to go home and say to my family, look, this is what I achieved. So my family was, still proud of me. And then I brought, yeah, right. And then I brought my paralegal business back to New Jersey and did the same thing there. Got it going.
Oh,
Yeah. But I was also still doing my auditions. I was still going into the city. Like that piece of it never died.
got you. So you always wanted to be an actress. Were you doing auditions and stuff when you were in LA?
No, I was just trying to stay alive. No,
Love that.
I was in how am I going to get food to eat mode.
Okay, so then when you got back to New York and the pressure kind of, I guess, it was a little easier because, you had that little bit of money from selling your stuff and then you started your business and that was cool. Did you have a second job in New York as well or no?
No, I had my family.
Good job.
I had a husband, so there was that too.
Oh, when did that happen? When did he come around? Was that an LA thing?
He was from Jersey, but while I lived in LA, I did not get married in LA. We got engaged and I arranged an entire wedding from LA in New York.
Oh my gosh.
I know, I'm a little, it's funny because people are like, you're type A. And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, because they joke that I'm very laid back and very easy. So they're like, you're a stealth type A. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
you present laid back.
Yeah.
You're laid back presenting.
So by the time I got back, it was all good. And, I don't get too much into my personal life
Sure,
in
yeah.
that regard,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're in New York, you're married, you have started your paralegal business up again.
Yep.
But you still want to be on Law and Order.
And I was.
Okay,
I
so
was on Law and Order.
tell me how long did it take you to get on Law and Order? Because that's the brass ring in New York
You're right.
for up and comers. Yeah. So how long did it take you to do
It's
it?
funny. You know what? It kind of became a joke. Everybody was like, have you been on Law and Order yet? No. It was just, I was not like a main part. It was like an extra. Let me tell you, it wasn't anything big, but I was able to say that I was on it. So how long did it take? I don't know. I just kept knocking at the doors and getting the headshots out there. I didn't have an agent. I was trying to represent myself. It's a hard life. Acting in general is a hard life. And I think it's easier now. And that's going to sound so kind of snobby and whatever, but like I walked up the hill both ways in the snow, kind of, you know what I mean?
Sure. These whippersnappers got it easy.
Yeah, we have social media now, and you can do your own stuff. You can put your stuff out there, and I encourage that. That's how I got to be the goddess of slots. So when I was in New York and I was still doing the paralegal business, running it, and decided that I also wasn't law wasn't the thing for me. I actually decided at that point, this is going to sound insane, that maybe it was because I still wanted to help. So maybe it was time to go back to school. So I went back to school and I got my master's degree as a social worker. So I was able to take the legal stuff and combine my knowledge of that with the social worker stuff. And then I decided to get a job, let the paralegal stuff go, and get a job in a school district as a school social worker. Because at that point, I had some children, and I was like, how do I work so that I can be home for them? So again, I don't want to get too far into the personal life, but that's sort of how I'm always like, how do I do this so that it benefits me in some way?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when did you decide to, and maybe it wasn't a decision, but maybe how did your acting career progress while you were spinning all these other plates? I know you weren't just on Law and Order, you were on a bunch of stuff, but
yeah.
How did it progress?
So it's actually funny. David Letterman, I'm going to date myself here, was doing skits, and they needed something with babies. And you just walk the baby out and then you walk off stage. And that was it. That was the extent of it. They called up because my sons at the time were amazing. Like, people would stop me in the street and be like, they should be modeling. They're that beautiful. An agent called me and said, David Letterman would like very much to have babies on this thing. It's a 2-second skit. And here's what it's paying. You literally we will have somebody walk your baby on, because he's like, how are we going to make our episode better? More babies. And you literally walk the kid on and walk the kid off. That was the whole thing. And they were willing to pay decent money for that. So they asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said, all right. So that day, I guess they did auditions, or not auditions. They had like a preparation to get to do it. And whoever the girl was, it was supposed to carry my baby. I don't know what her problem was, but they also saw me. And they were like, hey, can you carry your own kid on? And I'm like, obviously.
I carried him here.
That was the entire skit. He says, more babies. You literally walk in with the kid. You show the kid to the camera and you walk off. And they said, we love you. We love your look. We'd like to hire you. And I was like, cool. So
to carry babies?
It kind of, no. It just went from there. I sort of met an agent through that, and it sort of took off a little bit more with that. And then I get these a little bit better than extra roles, and a little bit more and a little bit more. And now I have an agent who's now submitting me. So that's taking, the burden off of me. In the summer times, I could go and audition and stuff like that. And it ended up working out. And it's really crazy the way there was sort of this synergy that the universe was like, okay, we know you've been trying this for your whole life. So yeah, we'll give it to you. And then I found myself back out in California for a bit, and it's just nuts. I've had a crazy life.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
A few episodes ago, like, I don't know, 6-8 episodes ago, I had a juggler from New York named Marcus Munn.
I saw that interview.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Well, out of nowhere one day, he got a call from the David Letterman people, and they said, hey, we need a juggler for whatever, 30 seconds or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And just like you, he was like, okay, cool. And they paid him a decent amount. But then from that appearance, he just got a ton of cruise gigs. So he was a juggler on cruises.
That's
just
neat.
From that thing. So that's a sweet little tangential line from your story. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Pull up a chair, make a pallet, or take a knee and tune in to Landon Talks with Kate, a conversational podcast blending humor, southern charm, and insightful discussions. We'll sip on some sweet tea and deep dive into topics ranging from caftans to collard greens, from art and literature to health and wellness, to internet trends and entertainment, and so much more. Expect listener questions, personal stories, and exciting special guests. Perfect for those of y'all who love to chat and learn something new every week. It'll be a relaxing, good time full of laughs and a lot of heart. Y'all come hang out with us everywhere podcasts are found.
Let's get back into it.
You're acting, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're doing all of the things.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the way, you discover slot machines? I need you to help me out with this.
Okay. Living in New York, my entertainment from Yonkers with my then boyfriend, was like, hey, let's go to Atlantic City. And a lot of people do that, to come to Atlantic City. And so I did it. You have to understand, I grew up in Yonkers, New York, literally down the block from the racetrack. So
There's a racetrack in Yonkers or down the street from Yonkers?
oh my goodness. It was at the time like one of the biggest. And I had,
Which one is it?
it's called Yonkers Racetrack.
Oh, well, snap. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And at the time, I had family members who were super duper into the horses. So I kind of grew up knowing about not gambling so much because they were like not huge gamblers, but knowing about things like horse racing and all of the names of the horses. And like we met the jockeys, and my sister actually at the time became super close with one of the jockeys. And so because of that, the jockeys would invite us to like come and see what was going on sort of behind the scenes. And as a young kid, that's super cool. And you're in Yonkers, but yet you're getting to see horses, right? So there's a whole tie-in like that. So Atlantic City was a big thing. And then as I got older, again, a lot of people, that's where they would go for entertainment. So I was familiar with gambling and I was familiar with stuff, but it was super cheap. I mean, I didn't have a lot of money, disposable income or anything like that, but it's fun because, nice restaurants, music, dancing, clubs, and it was really easy to get to. So that's sort of how that came about. So I've not been completely ignorant to the fact of that world.
Sure. But that's horse racing. Well, how did you get into slots?
Atlantic City is slots and tables, and that's when Trump owned everything in Atlantic City, and it was glamorous and fun, and you can get all dressed up and not gamble a lot of money and still walk into these fancy casinos, and that was fun. So that's kind of how that happened. So it's never been a full-on focus, but it was fun throughout my life. The way I got into this particular thing, the Goddess of Slots thing, is that I was in between acting gigs, threw some money into a machine by sort of just going to a casino, throwing some money in as a goof with some friends. I hit a jackpot, and it wasn't a huge jackpot. It was a hand pay.
What does that mean?
So a hand pay means anything over a certain amount where they're going to actually tax you.
Okay.
So I think it's like $1,250, something like that. And don't quote me on it. I'm not a numbers person. Once you hit that, all the bells and whistles go off on the machine. People tend to come over to see what you've hit. And that means you sort of have to stand there and wait for them to pay you by hand. And that's called a hand pay.
Oh, so you don't take a ticket and go to a cage or anything like that. They come and bring money to you.
If it's over a certain amount, they have to come to you.
Gotcha.
And of course, that's all done by device because, as I said, the bells, the whistles, people are coming over. It's exciting. I mean, casinos are very smart. And so you're getting this hand pay. So I'd gotten a hand pay, and that was the big deal. So my friends filmed me as a goof because like, oh my God, I can't believe it, because it was very exciting.
Were they filming before you pushed the button on the slot?
No.
Or once you hit the jackpot, then they rolled the cameras?
Yeah. So the game I was playing was called Dragon Link, I believe. If you know that game, once you hit the button, you get into sort of this bonus round thing. So you know something's going to happen. You don't know how much is going to happen, but you know something's going to happen. So he was like, oh my God, we're in the bonus round. Let's film it. Okay. And so that's what happened. So it was a short thing. It started on TikTok. And another friend just said, hey, let's post this. Well, before that, he said, hey, let's post this up. So I posted up on my TikTok account, which was nothing. It was not the Goddess of Slots. It was nothing. And it went viral. And I had over 1 million views on it, which is like insane.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. We were like, what? I don't understand this. My friend said, there's a whole genre of this. There are actual people out there who do this. They post it on social media, and that then becomes like a thing, and they have followers, and you can make money on social media by posting these things, and it's a whole thing. So I did research, and I was like, okay, well, I'm in between acting jobs right now anyway, so let's see where we can take this. they were like, well, you need a name. I was like, I don't know what to call myself. I mean, this is so silly. The one guy that I actually have like an import-export business with, he does all of the clothing. On every single reel that I wear, the clothing, this included, is for sale through this website. Anyway, he jokingly calls me goddess all the time anyway. And he's like, so let's call you the goddess of slots. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, we had other names that were more ridiculous, but so, you know, because you're dominating the slots and I'm calling you goddess because, you know, and I believe every woman has goddess in them. Like I'm very like pro woman in that regard. I really feel that you can be any size and shape and color, and we all have something super special inside of us. That's my social worker side, I guess, coming out. But that's cool. So I was like, you know what, that checks a lot of marks for me. So I'm good with that.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, streetwalkers, if you will. I hit it at the beginning, but not only is this Lorraine Ziff, but that's right, world-renowned social media star, the goddess of slots. Oh my goodness, goddess of slots. I don't think I've had a goddess of anything on the show before. I am humbled in your presence.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy to be here.
So this takes off a little bit and you do a little research and you say, hey, there might be something here. So then what were the next steps? Like, I know you had to secure goddess of slots and things like that, but did you have like a roadmap? Did you do an outline? How did you figure this was going to go? You know, you said you were going to give it a shot, but what did that mean?
Well, I was like, let's see what we can do with it. So we kept it on TikTok, but then I posted it on other social media. And it started taking off on those things as well. And it was like, wow, I didn't go right to YouTube and I didn't go right to Facebook. So I went from TikTok to Instagram. That was my thing. And now that's still, I think, my most loyal fan base.
Is both of those?
Yeah, I think Instagram, you know, now I'm a couple of 100,000 followers. And I think it's because I, you know, really pumped that. And I didn't know at all what I was doing. I was like putting quick little things up. I didn't realize that when you film for YouTube, it's got to be horizontal filming as opposed to vertical filming. There were rules and regulations I had no idea about. But my friend, who I refer to as my agent, my consigliere, I mean, I have all kinds of names. Every day I'm like, I think I'll call you this. And he's like, okay, whatever. He knew this stuff. And he was like, okay, let me help you. Let's work through this. Let's get to posting it and putting the stuff up and exploring the other social medias. And, you know, my business sense was, I think we should trademark this. I think we should, you know, do this and do that. And so a combination of the two of us working together all the way through has gotten to where we're at now. And I had a lot of input from a lot of people. I did a lot of research. I had people telling me, you know, hey, you're filming it wrong. You have to do it this way as opposed to that. And he's still now with me. Now I call him a cameraman on top of everything else. So when people are like, what is he to you? I'm like, everything. Like, I don't even know what other words to use.
I think that consigliere is a good word because that is more encompassing than just an advisor. I think that's kind of, you know, it's sort of an everything.
Absolutely.
Everything that needs to get done. I like that. Okay, so you're doing this thing, and then how did you figure that you were going to make money? Because you still had bills and whatnot. It's not like you could just stop everything and just post the videos.
Right.
How did you figure it was going to turn into money? I know that, you know, a lot of people make money on social media, and the rest of America or the world doesn't really understand how that happens. So how does that happen?
It's interesting because I never gave up the acting stuff, and I was still getting acting jobs, and so I was still able to keep myself alive that way and family. But the social media started getting out there, and from that, and from how viral things were taking off, and from the followers and from the demographics, I started being reached out to by casinos saying, hey, you're having a good time, you're doing this, would you come and make an appearance? And we'll pay you to make an appearance. Just bring your excitement, bring your fun. because people are like, oh, when you gamble, you're being paid by a casino. And so and that's how you're able to gamble, whatever. No, it's my own money that's going into those machines. So I want to clarify that. But casinos will pay you if you're doing an appearance. I've also unveiled high limit rooms, slot machines, slot companies have had me come for new games that are being unveiled. And so that's how you get paid in that world.
Okay. So kind of like how Paris Hilton used to get paid to DJ at an opening of a club, like kind of that sort of a thing. It's more of an appearance thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then they would do meet and greets. They would do almost like a Comic-Con convention in a way, if I want to try to explain it that way. But, you get paid to come and show. You get paid to do slot tournaments. You get paid to do that sort of stuff. That's one avenue. And everything sort of, again, the synergy, everything worked hand in hand. So as my numbers are getting bigger, social media takes notice and says, hey, we can run ads on your stuff. So they're going to make money. I don't get to say what ad is being run. They do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another avenue. And Facebook and YouTube are the best for that. Unfortunately, my numbers, I've qualified to do everything. I'm still working on getting the numbers up. So I'm always like, please go like and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. Those are, but there's a lot of different things on social media that the social media companies themselves allow you to make money on. I will also say that no social influencer in the casino world doesn't have some other stuff going on as well. So if you're wanting to get into this world, know that it's going to, like any business, it's going to take time, effort, energy, and you better have, some money in your pocket because you're not making money immediately. Absolutely not. But again, that's like any business. Ironically, from this Goddess of Slots thing, I had several people in the acting industry take notice. And as a result, again, one thing sort of just, fed into the other. And as a result, I was invited to be on 2 different television shows. One that I just was filming, neither are out yet. The other is actually a gambling comedy, and they're having me come in and play the Goddess of Slots character. And it's such a clever comedy. It is so funny. I can't speak more to it than that because, as I said, we're still filming and they had me sign all kinds of NDAs and such.
Both of those series, you can't talk about either one of them. You can't name them.
I can tell you that one of them is about the largest art heist that truly occurred in real life out of Boston and is still unsolved to this day. And I play the wife of the mobster who was thought to have orchestrated the heist.
So you're playing a real person.
Yeah, that's the drama. And then this other thing is a comedy. But I love the acting world. And that's how I set out right from a little kid. Like, how do I make it happen? This is me. This is my calling. I just didn't know how to get there. And it's funny that it's sort of finally getting me there. And so people, when I film for this stuff, they're like, you're so comfortable in front of camera. I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it like my whole life. So, and I love people. I love I know you love people. I know that you love meeting people and getting into their lives.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah. And I love that myself. So getting to meet people in casinos and stuff, and people come up to you and then they share their hits or what's going on in their lives. I met a couple last night. I was in the casino and these beautiful women came over and they didn't want to interrupt me because I was filming. And I was like, come on in. I don't, come, let's talk. And then it was neat. It was really neat. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that you encourage people to tell you their casino stories. I'm going to tell you one right now.
Tell me.
So my wife and I, God bless her, she married me. Sucker. So
see, I like that you said God bless her and not bless her soul. That's good. Or bless her heart.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it's funny. She was raised in Mississippi, so bless your heart is a thing that gets said around here a lot.
Okay, I know exactly what that means.
So we got married in Vegas, and we only had a few attendees, like 3. because it was a kind of a destination thing, and this was a couple of decades ago, and times were tough. So her son was there, my mom was there, and then at the time, my best friend was there. My best friend, Ted, this son of a gun. So we're at the casino, right? So, because you're staying in a casino, so the first thing you do is, of course, you get there, and then you go to the casino. We were at...
May I ask what casino?
Yeah, it was the Union Plaza. And the reason that it was the Union Plaza is because of old school Vegas, like a huge Rat Pack fan, all that stuff.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, good. The address, ladies and gentlemen, for the Union Plaza is 1 Main Street, Las Vegas. And I was like, hell yeah.
I love it.
We didn't have anything to do with this, but our room number was like 2121. We're like, hell yeah.
Wow. All the
and
signs.
And now we've been married forever, and it is amazing. But my friend Ted, he gets off the plane, he takes the taxi to the casino. He still has his luggage with him, and he rolls right up to a Wheel of Fortune slot machine.
Okay.
He puts $25 in, and he won $10,000.
Wow. Now that's a hand pay.
Yeah. So immediately he hands me $1,000 and says, "Hey, happy wedding. I got you this."
Oh, that's awesome.
It was super cute. It was super
Yeah.
fun. And then the very next day, he said, "Hey, man, can I borrow some money?"
No. Oh, no.
The very next day, he asked for some of that money back, which I gave it to him, but it was hilarious. So the Wheel of Fortune slot machine has always carried a special place in my heart.
I love the Wheel of Fortune. Mm.
Oh my gosh, it was a blast. And so we've been to Vegas, I think only one time after that, because my wife was attending a conference.
Okay.
I had already started my show, so I was interviewing a bunch of fools while I was there. Which was kind of cool. And I got to meet Pete Rose, and, it was cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But then there was a different conference that she was attending in, oh no, I guess this was also in Vegas. It was just outside of Vegas. And so it was like this Indian casino.
Mhm.
I can't remember the name of it. But one of the things that I think is fun for me to do, like if I'm in Vegas or wherever, is I'll go to every single casino that I can. I'll walk in and I'll play like the penny slots or the nickel slots or whatever, and I'll just stand there until I win. I don't care if I win a quarter. I get to go, ha, I won in that casino, and then off.
I love that, though.
It's
That's
so
funny.
stupid.
No, it's not. That's fun because you have a story about it.
And I'm sure people say this all the time, but I have like one pocket for the money I'm going to spend, and then the other pocket for the money I won.
Yeah. So have you achieved that goal of playing in every, winning in every casino?
Well, every casino that I went to. I haven't been to all of them, but yeah, just walking up and down the strip or whatever, and just walk in, and even in New Orleans, just walk in and put a nickel in a slot, just keep it until I win. And then, if I win a quarter, then I'm like, cool, I won, I'm out. I don't have to be in the plus column. I just need for it to be like, you're a winner. And then I go, woohoo, I'm a winner. And then I leave.
I love your logic. Some might call that girl logic, but no, I love it.
A few years after that, like maybe 10 years after that, we were in New Orleans, and my wife was at a different kind of conference. And I went to, I want to say it was like the Golden Nugget or something. I don't even remember which one it is, but, and out of nowhere, like that same friend from the wedding and from the Wheel of Fortune, he called me and he was like, "Hey man, what are you up to?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing, just hanging out." He's like, "Hey, I was thinking maybe, next week or something, we could grab lunch or whatever." And I go, "Well, that'd be cool." Or maybe he said tomorrow. And I was like, "Well, that'd be cool and all, except I'm in New Orleans right now." And he was like, "No shit, I'm in New Orleans right now." And I go, "Really?"
Wow.
I go, "Where are you?" He goes, "I'm at the Golden Nugget or whatever." I go, "Shut the fuck, I'm at the Golden Nugget."
That's insanity.
Like we just met up and had a couple drinks, played a couple of slots. It was so weird.
So did Ted ask you for any money?
Oh, I love that you went there. I love that so much. No, but I'm sure he will once he hears this.
Oh, that's funny. He still owes you $1,000 for your wedding.
Yeah, that son of a gun.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
My Grandpa's Grandpa is an award-winning children's book. The story is that a grandfather, me, is tucking in Charlie, my grandson. Like all little children, he starts asking questions at bedtime. The questions he asks are about my grandfather. This book is a great way to think about how you can share stories of your family members with your children and grandchildren. You can order this book by going to Amazon or my website, cool-grandpa.us. If you purchase the book from my website, be sure to use the coupon code FS25 and save 25% on your order of my book, My Grandpa's Grandpa, from now until the end of the year.
Let's get back into it.
Back to your story, because this ain't
Yes.
about me. Goddess of Slots, you do things and you host things, and, well, you're a celebrity in the slots world. And I've heard a couple of interviews, and boy, when people are interviewing you who are familiar with the slot world and your place in it, oh my gosh, they fumble all over themselves trying to talk to you. And I love hearing it. It cracks me up. You're doing a thing, which I think you've done things like it before, but you're doing a thing where you are going to, I guess, host an exclusive casino cruise thing. Is that right?
You know what? This is actually my first.
Oh,
It is the Virgin cruise of Virgin Voyages for the Goddess of Slots. So the cruise has been out there, and it's
so
been
this
around.
is like the Goddess of Slots is in the name of the cruise.
It's Virgin Voyages.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, this is like, so like, I guess New Kids on the Block will do like a New Kids on the Block cruise, or the Impractical Jokers will do an Impractical Jokers cruise. So this is a Goddess of Slots cruise.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Goddess of Slots
wow.
cruise. Yeah. I was invited to go on a different Virgin Voyages cruise with some friends and some influencers. And I went with Raja, Big Jackpot, who's very well known within the industry.
Sure.
And a couple of other people. And we had just so much fun. And that cruise through Virgin Voyages, we together opened up the high limit room.
That was what I was confusing with you having done this before. It was that opening the high limit room.
Right. So we had a blast, and the people that were there had a good time, and everybody was, making money and hitting and whatever. Anyway, I got to meet a lot of the people through meet and greets and what have you. And Virgin Voyages said afterwards, wow, this was a huge success. How about we do a Goddess of Slots cruise? And I said, you know what? I love this. I'm going to have some requirements of what I'm looking for. Because if you're coming in under me, I'm a girl. I want it to be fun. And it was fun.
Well, not just that you're a girl, but you're a brand.
Yeah.
And so things need to be at a standard that comports with your brand.
Exactly. And two, I want to bring sort of the female touch of sort of going the extra mile. I'm not, you know what I mean? So anyway, I said, here's what I want to do. I want to have handouts. I want to have a slot tournament where you can actually win money, not put money in, because you're coming almost as my guest, if you will. Like, that's my mindset. You're making the effort to come onto this cruise. I want you to have the best time humanly possible.
I mean, you've already paid to get on the cruise.
Here's the thing. If you can show that you have a land-based offer from any casino anywhere for 3 nights.
You mean like a comp offer?
Exactly.
Okay.
If you have a comp offer from any casino anywhere in the country for 3 nights, what you do is you go to www.goddessofslots.com, and on there I have the cruise information. You fill out the form. You upload a picture of your comp, and the cruise is free, or it's comped. All you have to do is pay port and taxes. I think it's like under $300.
Oh, wow.
And you will get 5 nights of free cruise. And that will include specialty restaurants. I'm doing a cocktail party. I'm doing a slot tournament where, as I said, you're not having to put money in. I mean, you could win free play out. I'm doing special dinners for the people that are coming. All of that's included. You can have this 5-night thing out of Miami. It's September 12th to the 17th. And we can have a really good time. I love to dance. I'll be definitely dancing at night. I'll definitely be in the high limit room. I've gotten them to give me the okay to film in the high limit room, which is off of the main floor. So other people who are maybe wanting to start a channel or who want to just film themselves, because so many times in casinos you cannot do that. So that's something that there's a lot of stuff that I've gotten sort of for my people. That's how I think about it, is if you're coming on through my website, you're my person, and I'm going to make sure that you're going to have the best damn time. That's what it is. And they're calling it the, Goddess of Slots Cruise. And if you look on the website, you'll see it. It'll link right to it.
I love that you take such care of your people.
Thank you.
A lot of celebrities in any field, they don't really. I have seen celebrities recoil when somebody asks them for an autograph or somebody just wants to talk to them. I mean, recoil in horror.
Yes. A lot of people do that. And again, being in the acting world, in addition, so I've been around with some really greats, and some of the greatest greats are incredibly humble. It's those people whose ego are bigger than they are. You know what I mean?
I'm talking to you, Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, really? Oh.
I call that guy out every chance I get. I've met him a couple of times. He's such a dick.
Oh, that's because you're not blonde with boobs.
He lives in San Antonio, and he sucks.
Aw. I'm going to come to San Antonio. We're going to hunt him out together, find this man, and just have a face-to-face.
We don't have to hunt him. I know where he is. Okay, so some of the things that you have done is that you have partnered with casinos. What does that mean exactly? Like, I know you've partnered with like Hard Rock and the El Cortez, but like, what does it mean when you partner with a casino?
So I don't know that I word it exactly as partnered with. What I would say is that I've been invited to come and again, open a room or open El Cortez. By the way, I have to do a shout out to Adam at El Cortez. It's one of my favorite places. He treats me very well. He treats everybody very well. You want to talk about somebody who he's the ultimate gentleman, and also, he loves what he does. The El Cortez is a family-owned, run place to this day. It's very old school. It's off of Fremont Street.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not on the Strip. So when I say that, I mean that these people have me come in, they just recently did a huge renovation at the El Cortez, and I was invited to come there and sort of cut the ribbon and be a part of that. And again, the meet and greets and the pictures and the unveiling of new slot machines, all of that kind of stuff is what happens when I'm in the different casinos. So the Hard Rock is another one. The Hard Rock actually not only did have me come in, the Hard Rock in Tampa, and I've also been to the Hard Rock in Atlantic City. George Goldoff is the president of the Hard Rock in Atlantic City. In fact, I'm headed there tonight for another event. But I was there for a ribbon cutting. We had so much fun. I've been there in Tampa more than once. You're there and you say hello and you meet the people and you cut the ribbon and they do the publicity and they'll do the interviews. But then the Hard Rocks also used me in their social media, and they've used me in their ads, and it just sort of snowballs in that regard. And everybody benefits because the people following me get to watch the content, get to be invested in that regard. The casinos get to use my likeness and image for that particular event. And so I'm also bringing my followers to the table. I'm also on their stuff, so they're sort of bringing people that maybe hadn't heard about me before. It's synergy. The word just keeps coming up today.
It does keep coming up. It's crazy.
I'm sorry to be so redundant.
No, that's okay. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Lorraine Bensavingo Ziff, the goddess of synergy. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so again, this cruise,
yes,
it leaves out of Miami on September 12th.
Yes.
2025. And everybody, did you say it was goddessofslots.com that they could go to?
Yes, I did.
For more information?
Yep. And once they get on there, just click the button and sign up.
And again, registered through goddessofslots.com, you may enjoy specialty gifts, a private cocktail party, exclusive dinners, a special slot tournament, and more.
Yep.
And this is my favorite part. This is a kid-free, no dress code atmosphere designed for, wait for it, ultimate relaxation and fun. I love the kids-free no dress code aspect of it. That is amazing.
Absolutely.
What's next? I know that you spent some time in the paralegal and owning your own business, doing that thing. You're also still doing acting. You're still doing the Goddess of Slots things, and like you said, I think you said earlier that everything, all of your clothing that you wear in all of your videos, like it's not those exact items, right?
It's not the item I'm physically wearing. I have gotten those, offers too. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to keep my DNA to myself. But it is the outfits. And so for a guy who may want to get something for his girl, or for, I have a nice amount of female followers who are like, I love that outfit. I'm like, great, it's available. So every single article of clothing that I wear in every reel is for sale. That
clothing line is a thing.
Yeah.
What are you going to do now? I mean, you have these 2 TV series that are coming out. You've got the maiden voyage of your own cruise.
Yes.
Like, if this goes well, are you going to keep doing this cruise? Are you going to, like, if it's a synergistic thing that works out for everybody, is this something you're going to keep maybe annually?
Absolutely. In fact, what I've already been spoken to about that, and they're like, wow, we're getting such positive response already. Maybe we'll do a longer cruise. Maybe we'll go transcontinental. Maybe we'll do, let's just see how it goes and how, but the response has been incredible already. So I'm very, very excited about that. I do have additional casinos that I'm going to be making appearances at. All of that information is on my website.
Again, that's goddessofslots.com.
Yep. Thank you. We are now going into season 2 of this TV show that I'm filming.
The one that you can't tell us about?
The one that I can't tell you about. Season 1 hasn't aired yet, but we've had incredible response from that. Like, Netflix is looking at it and so on and so forth. And they're like, yeah, keep going. So we're going into season 2. So my piece of season 1 was sort of at the tail end because there's a reveal.
Is this the comedy one or the drama one?
The comedy one.
Okay.
And now we're going to go into season 2, where I'm a fairly main character.
Oh, I love it.
Not fairly, an actual. I'm a character in real life, a character in this series. It's very funny.
Well, it seems fitting that the name of this Virgin Voyages boat is the Valiant Lady.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Again, everybody, go to goddessofslots.com. Find out more information about the Dominican Daze voyage through Virgin Voyages on the Valiant Lady with your hostess, with the mostess and the goddess with all of the synergy, Lorraine. Now, Lorraine, as we're heading out, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
So I am at goddessofslots.com and also on social media at Goddess of Slots.
Everywhere except TikTok and X.
I was just going to say, yep. And that becomes Goddess of Slots 1, the number 1.
How mad were you when you found out somebody else already had Goddess of Slots?
And you know what? It's funny because I actually checked into it and the girl never used her account. I'm like, come on, man, this makes my life easier if I could just be consistent. But if you go to the website, you can link all over the place. And if you go to any of the social media, it also says, hey, by the way, go to any of these other places. And even on my social media is the cruise information. Like Instagram has click here to get to the cruise. So everything's interconnected to everything else.
I love that. Lorraine, is there anything I didn't ask you about or we didn't talk about specifically that you wanted to talk about today? Did we cover the big bits?
I feel like we did. I feel like we hit everything. I truly enjoyed our time here. I know that we're talking about the cruise and we're talking about the slots and the casinos, but what we're doing right now, that was the big bit for me.
Oh, that is the sweetest thing. Oh my gosh. You are killing it. Well, Lorraine Benzavingo Ziff, Goddess of Slots, and also wielder of the Synergy Sword. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic winning at life schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And hey, maybe I'll see you in a casino.
Yeah, it was 100% my pleasure. The chances of that are pretty slim, but if that does happen, I will definitely interrupt one of your videos to say hi.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. You have a great rest of your week and have fun in Atlantic City.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Opening music is the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Vin. Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jax Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.